my gold making routine. Now, a few of you guys actually asked me on stream the other day what my gold making routine is. I then thusly wrote it out and placed it within the Discord. Now, what a few people asked me yesterday is, could you actually just explain it to us in a video? Which I'm happy to oblige. So this is what I'm currently doing to make gold at this moment in time before War Within comes out, which would make no sense if I don't talk about my character setup. Now, I have multiple different toons, but here is my basic setup for everyone. I have my druid, who is my herbalist, and my miner. She's also my banker, because then I can just farm materials and immediately place it on the auction house. It just makes sense to me. However, you're more than welcome to use any other different type of banker for yourself for that. It's just your own opinion for this. That being said, with everything else, I have my paladin, 𝐆𝐀𝐿𝐺, with the accent on top of the A. He is my engineering and jewel crafter. Now, he is primarily making mounts and also the gems at this moment in time, as well as my mage, who is my enchanter, my tailor, and my cooking profession. And then following on to that, we have my rogue, who is my scribe and alchemist, along with my archaeology guy. This was mainly due in part that there was no point of leveling up my archaeology on anyone else, because the archaeology gave me Vial of Sands, and him being my alchemist, I wanted Vial of Sands back in the day, and I never changed it. I know he would be a better skinner, but I'm leaving it at that. The thing with everything else is my demon hunter, who is my leather worker and skinner. Now, this one's just a nice paired thing together, and he is basically my leather worker and skinner. And brings us on to our last character, which is my warlock, who is another alchemist and blacksmith. Now, you're probably wondering why I have two alchemists. Now, this is because I have one, which is my rogue. He is an alchemist with transmutation master for producing more arcanite bars, true gold, and any other different types of transmutes that are not on cooldown. This is so I can get that proc chance from anything from below Mr. Pandaria down to vanilla. It's so I can proc more of those and be able to get more gold value from that. The same thing goes with my warlock, who is also my alchemist, and he is a elixir master, because he produces the flasks and elixirs for the Vial of the Sands mount, and that reduces the cost even further, because with that proc chance I can get more of those elixirs for less using the proc chances in general. And you're probably wondering why I don't have a potions master. I do, but I don't generally craft a lot of old world potions, so it's not really viable for me. However, if you want to go ahead and make potions of treasure finding, be my guest. The next thing of note is my daily process. What is my daily process? Well, I like to keep things really bog standard, very simple, because that is what has worked for me in the past and continues to work for me on the daily, weekly, and or monthly. The daily process is simple. It is relist all expired auctions. This can be my transmog is set for 48 hours because they're very slow selling. My pets are set for 48 hours as well to pair inside with that, along with recipes, and my materials and any other items are set for 24 hours on my listings. Then we have my crafting restocks. My crafting restocks are all crafting professions. I recraft those every single day, as well as I restock the amount per items is based on the daily sold value. So when I go to restock, I use the daily sold to find out how much of something I should really be producing to actually keep up to date with all of that. And the next thing with that one is my profit margins are based on a percentage, and that percentage is generally around about 20% extra on that. It's just a bog standard thing where you do 120% crafting. However, I weaved in a few other different types of things into my TSM strings and or profile to set that all up. The following thing with that for my crafting restock is crafting takes into account how fast items sell, or we're using sell rate. Also, transmog is different from mounts and base crafting, vice versa. So I have loads of different sell rates, and I calculate it between that to find out which type of ones I should be producing, how many, and whether or not it's actually worth crafting at that percentage chance. Because if they tick all of the boxes, then I can craft it at that. We don't really want to be producing an item that doesn't really sell at a very low sell rate, but we want transmog to be at a lower sell rate. So I have different crafting operations for all of those, just so I can make sure that I've got my crafted transmog up, and then I've got my standard crafting, and I've got my mounts separate as well. I've got loads of different types of ones. So if we go into my TSM right now, we can see that my crafting operations are, we have a default, we have my crafting mechanic, which is my base one, and that is for my basic crafting. We have the mounts mechanic, pets, toys, and the transmog mechanic for crafting. I don't really go too in depth or too nerdy with everything. As long as it does the job, I'm happy, and that it works quite well for me on that front. Following on to all of that, TSM Mega Profile for me is on my Patreon. If you want to check that out, link is in the description as well. Which then brings us on to my farming restock. My farming restock is part of my daily dungeon. Now, I primarily pick an instance or a dungeon to do daily. This is mainly because it's faster, and also I get a lot more loot in a lot less time. Now, generally speaking, if I was going to pick one, it would most likely be Sunwell or something like Stratholme main entrance, as those provide a decent amount of gold through materials, transmog, and everything in between. The idea is to at least have one lockout of 10 runs, focusing on dungeons with high ticket recipes or transmog. That's what I primarily like to do. Notable instances are Stratholme Main, Sunwell, Alderman, and Karazhan trash farms. That works out quite well for me, and I would definitely go check those ones out if you wish to do that. Which then brings us on to my weekly process. So my weekly process is whenever I'm not out my day job or I'm producing videos. It's when I've got time to do that, and I like to farm a load of raids. I'm a big proprietor of raids for getting gold, and even though raw gold is terrible now, thank you Blizzard, we still can get a decent amount. So forget remix for a second. On the weekly throughout a given year, without any timed events or anything, I will always go for Throne of Thunder for those battle pets, Blackwing Descent, Siege of Orgrimmar, Emerald Nightmare, Temple of Ahn'Qiraj, Trial of the Crusader, and Karazhan. I would like to do a full clear of them at least once for the week, having a chance of getting hold of those battle pets. Now, I did make up some gold method notes. Now, these gold method notes are quite simple. The first one is, you guessed it, simple, and that is recraft every day, relist auctions every day, and do at least one farm per day. It's really, really that simple. And then we get on to repeatable. Craft restocks every day, keeping production low, but still providing the max amount of crafted items that are at a profit at a reasonable sell rate. Farming at least one dungeon per day, making it so I constantly have new items for sale, stacking over time. It's all about consistency with this type of thing, and that's how I prefer to do it. The keeping consistent on is actually one of the main tickers for repeatable on the process. Means I have small wins every day that don't take much time but compound greatly over the long time period. This is how I like to approach gold making, and that's why it's in my gold making method. Which then brings us on to profitability. Profitable is one of those ones that you generally need to make gold, and farmed items are self-explaining, but by focusing on high ticket items and keeping that process, I will always generate a profit. Crafted items based on sell rate against profit margin decreases a loss in profit while increasing sales. Crafting items based off of the amount of daily sold gives me a more reliable measurement on how many to craft while taking the guesswork out and maximizing overall profit. So if it's got a good sell rate, it's got more profit, then I want to produce more of that. What is the max amount I should make? So we look at the daily sold for that, and that will maximize our returns every single day. So it's simple, repeatable, and profitable, all compounded into one. And that being said, that is my goal making method, bar a couple of things like Dark Moon Fair, timed events throughout the year, and all that stuff. This is the bog standard bare minimum I will do to make gold, which is relist, recraft, farm every single day without fail, and it's available on the Discord for anyone to look at. I just literally read it off of my thing because I've already written it up and it's ready for you. It's just Dallas gold routine on the Discord, so you can go towards the Discord and read it at your own leisure. Aside from all of that, that is my gold making routine. Take it easy, and I shall see you in the next video, which will be soon.